So we're going to start by doing this in a short version. So this is the first video and podcast edition of the Great News for Us, Bad News for Musk and Trump. So I hope you enjoy. I guess after another week of the Musk and Trump dumpster fire burning across America, I am pleased to be able to deliver more good news for you today. I hope it gives you some sense of relief, given all the chaos throughout America that's being caused by Musk and Trump and their regime. Um, it's helped me immensely as well to see all the patriots fighting back in this country. One of the things that I don't always celebrate, that I guess thinking of a stock for somebody, but when it comes to Elon, facing these constant protests, the company's stock has plummeted 33% just in the last month. And just yesterday, as some of you may know, there was a recall announced on nearly all of his Cybertrucks. It's the third recall of 2025 for Tesla. It's going to cost him dearly. Our awesome supporter, there's a lot of supporter news that people report back in the comments, and we'll confirm it and then spread that to folks. Madeline Wiley said she joined more than 300 other people for a protest outside of Musk's SpaceX and Starlink buildings in Redmond, Washington. Wiley said, "We all had signs and lined up the road during traffic hours. So many people out fighting Musk. I love it." AOC and Bernie Sanders launched their joint tour for fighting oligarchy. They have two events today, one event tomorrow. Yesterday, they were in Tempe, Arizona, and also in Las Vegas. AOC had this awesome quote where, it felt like a presidential run. They're not running for president. That's a long time away. They're not running for president, VP, or anything like that. They literally are just using the energy that people are really hungry for change, and they want to be heard, and they're listening. So she went out and said what they call, as a radical, I believe it's common sense. When a person gets sick, they shouldn't go bankrupt. A minimum wage should cover the minimum costs to live. Homes are not slot machines for investors in Wall Street to extort working families out of every last dollar that they have. I felt that. And Sanders did in his way. He had said, "While I'm not a mathematician, I do know that 99% is a hell of a lot bigger number than 1%. If we do not let Trump and his friends divide us up by the color of our skin, or where we were born, or our religion, or our sexual orientation, if we stand together as one, people fighting for justice, there's nothing that we cannot do." There was an empty seat town hall in GOP Rep Scott Perry's district, one of many empty seat town halls that they're holding across the country because Republicans are in hiding in their little bunkers. They've been told not to do the town halls because the PR is so bad. So we're bringing the PR to them. They want that bad PR. It's just getting worse. One of the moms of a fired federal worker, Sue Gordon, said that her son saved everyone in here, in the room there, thousands of tax dollars, and his evaluations were tops, and he was fired with cause for bad performance, and it was just untrue. She said she's furious. Where is Scott Perry? She starts looking around the room, and she's genuinely asking, where is Scott Perry? And then the whole room starts chanting, "Where is Scott Perry? Where is Scott Perry?" It was a great moment. One of the first town halls that we had covered where there was major blowback was in Kansas with Senator Roger Marshall. So he decided to host what he called a town hall this week. What that was is there were 20 handpicked individuals that were in the basement of a courthouse while protesters were outside holding signs that said "do better," and they knew he was in there, but they weren't allowed in. Christy Davis was a Biden appointee, I think through agriculture, but she was actually in the audience of these 20 people, and she said, "I witnessed something unexpected. Even this handpicked audience did not refrain from sharing legitimate concerns and asking pointed questions. In the words of one of yesterday's protesters, no one voted for Elon. Kansans deserve more than a senator who fails to stand up to those who aim to destroy our federal government." One of the hidden town halls, which Chuck Grassley had in Iowa, he refused to publicize it, and they said, "Oh, there's another event complex that was actually they're supposed to promoting it, so we didn't have it on our website." People found out about it anyways. thanks to Indivisible and other great groups. They had their eye on the ball. A room of 100 attendees got to respond to the fact that Grassley's sitting up there and he's like, well, Musk, he has no power. And people genuinely laughed like it was Saturday Night Live. Like it was hilarious. And he was seriously saying it. This delusional person. Grassley also admitted to the news, I think, a big slip up. He said a lot of people are mad about what's going on in the Trump administration. We had Al Green show up at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. He was pissed about federal workers getting fired. And he said, you just can't decide you're going to fire everybody under the guise of cutting so that can give money to your rich friends. I mean, he's always on point with that. Another thing that happened this week, the Defense Department, I'm sure you all heard about this. Jackie Robinson, there was an incident when he was in the Army where he refused to sit in the back of the bus. So they called the Army police. He was court-martialed. He was later acquitted. But this was a story that was on the Department of Defense website, and they had scrubbed it. And it took an hour and 20 minutes, that's it, of public pressure that stepped up, and it was massive. I mean, massive. And then they not only apologized, they did it in that snarky Trump way where it's like, oh, these things are going to happen. Oopsie daisy. Like, we know that you intentionally scrubbed this. We know that you didn't want an act of defiance against racism when you are the most racist administration we've seen of our lifetime. But I mean, there's a lot of competition there back in the day, and also even recently, even under Reagan and Bush and Trump won. But it's hard to beat them as well. And then one of our favorite retired federal judges, J. Michael Ludwig, he spoke out a lot during the first impeachment, his second impeachment as well. He's a conservative. He slammed Trump for declaring, quote unquote, war on the rule of law in America, saying the constitutional role of the president is to faithfully execute the laws. Needless to say, the president is doing anything but that in the moment. Now, I mean, that's clear. Trump is committing more impeachable acts that I've ever seen possible. Just little things that he's doing. For example, he has that crypto meme coin that he launched like 3 days before. I mean, he's making money off of this while in office. He's promoting things that he's making money off of. The level of corruption we haven't seen in modern history before. I'm sure that I'll talk to Stephen Beschloss and some other historians. I'll bring them on to talk more about this because I'm not, I don't know much about that in the historical sense, but it really is astonishing. I'm not surprised. I know that y'all are probably not surprised either, because we warned people about this. Andrew Watkins, friends like Jess Craven and others who have been organizing for years, people who focused on Project 2025. We warned about the Department of Education. I got slapped with one of those warning labels on Twitter that I had to fight back against, saying that it was disinformation because I said that they were going to take apart the Department of Education. And so just look at where we're at right now. There were, I think, over 100 times that Project 2025's official online accounts would attack me and call me fake news and disinformation. So I'm sure that they had some inside track in regards to that. And that was a lot of fun. And we, a lot of people had asked us, one of our campaigns, we have a bunch of campaigns. You can see it in the pinned comments in our posts so that it's not all jumbled in the posts. But one of them that we're launching now was against impeachment. Now, I know everybody would say, well, he didn't get pushed out before. It hobbled him more than anything else. Like, it stopped him from progressing. It helped Democrats win back the House, just the talk of impeachment. We had set up something called the Impeachment Task Force with people like John Leguizamo and Deborah Messing. So we had some celebrity power. There was a funny story. One time, Fox News covered it. It was covered in Newsweek in a feature. And my quote says something along the lines of, the propaganda machine for Trump is going to be working in overdrive. And for some reason, Fox decided to repeat that on air, she pauses and looks up at it, and it's just like he's talking about us. So that was a fun moment, but that really was one of the ways that we could focus on his corruption, and a lot of great people got their legs around that in regards to their strength and their power and the spotlight, especially great people like Jamie Raskin, a great representative from Maryland, and we've had a lot of people step up since then. And obviously, the second impeachment, Kinzinger and Cheney on the conservative side of things. I don't know what you'd call them now, because apparently conservatives are not that. Our activism arm, we started on election night. After, I think it was 2 or 3 a.m., we were going to start something that was a check on the press, right? But Trump won. So it wasn't, we weren't going to be calling out the press in the same way. Um, we needed to make it broader. So we started the Watchdog Coalition. Again, you can join that in the pinned comments in our posts. We've sent, right now, we've made tens of thousands of phone calls that we know of. We're trying to find a better way to track it. And then we've sent over 222,000 letters directly from constituents to the representatives and senators on specific issues. We really tried to push hard against nominees. And once we were able to work with a bunch of other coalition groups to push Gates out, we were like, well, we might as well push against these others. We didn't think that senators would be so immoral and terrible. We should have assumed worse, but we want to push against them anyways to make sure that people were aware how horrible these nominees were. We only have one that we're pushing against right now. It's Dr. Oz. So keep an eye out for that. Keep on calling, keep sending letters, keep sending emails, post on social media, reply to elected officials, show up to protests and town halls if you're able. If you're not, support those efforts online. Everything you do counts. Don't let anyone undercut it. If somebody says, oh, you're just tweeting keyboard work, like if anybody says anything like that, that's a person who's probably not on our side, doesn't understand the importance of social media, and doesn't understand that progressives across America lost because they weren't, the institutional Democrats did not invest into that. And that's where, you'll see this progressive bubble up and probably take over the Democratic Party, is my guess. In the next few months, you'll see those progressives rise. That's why you see thousands of people in a crowd with AOC and Bernie. That's why you see all these people showing up for Tim Walz right now with these progressive ideals. It's common sense. It's basic. Right now we're doing a campaign at this moment. We started on Twitter, moved to Blue Sky and other. It's a hashtag ACA Saves Lives. So make sure to use that. It's hashtag ACA Saves Lives. And it's just to celebrate ACA. So, it's great to be trolled again. Thank you to all the MAGA folk that like to respond and give me more attention on that. Because we want to make sure that everybody has their insurance up to date. And I also have to, as I sign off here, let me know what you think about this. We'll do a post on this as well. And keep in mind that all our funding comes from paid subscribers on Substack. We don't have billionaire backers and, anybody on the outside. We don't have Russian backers that are telling us what to do or say. We're completely independent. So if you want to support independent journalism, please become a paid subscriber today to us. We will bring the good news to you every single day, 7 days a week, rain or shine, and so make sure that, you support us if you can. That no matter how you support us, no matter how you subscribe, I appreciate you in your fight for democracy, and everything that y'all do. Thanks to the hundreds of thousands of people that read us and watch us here. And thank you for everything that y'all do. It really does make a difference. Don't let anyone ever tell you differently. Like, seriously. So anyways, I appreciate y'all. Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. Onward.